What if the barrier didn't exist? What if you were already on the other side? What would you do then? Those three questions can open more doors than an hour of problem solving. Today, we're exploring one of the most powerful tools you have as a coach, the what if question, and how to use it to help clients see past their perceived limitations. So, what makes what if so powerful? It creates a safe space to explore beyond current limitations, but just temporarily. When you ask what if, you're not pretending barriers don't exist. You're seeing past them for a moment to discover what the client actually wants. And here's where the magic happens. Once possibilities become visible, barriers often look different. Smaller, more manageable, sometimes even optional. The what if reveals true desires that were hiding behind the obstacles. This connects directly to marker 7.04, asks questions that help the client explore beyond current thinking. What if questions are one of your most strategic tools for achieving this? They invite clients to imagine possibilities beyond their perceived boundaries. And that's exactly what this marker asks us to do. Create questions that open new territory for exploration. Let me give you some variations to add to your toolkit. You can remove the problem entirely. What if this wasn't a problem? What would you be focusing on instead? You can eliminate failure. What if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you try? You can reframe the barrier. What if the barrier you see was actually a doorway? What might be on the other side? Or you can invite them into their future self. What if you were already beyond this? What would you be doing differently? Each of these opens a different door. The art is knowing which door to try. So when do you reach for a what if question? When the conversation keeps circling around barriers and limitations without movement forward. When your client is stuck on what they cannot do rather than what might be possible. When the box of their thinking feels tight and rigid, limiting creative possibilities. And here's a critical condition only after you've acknowledged their current reality first. What if works best after the client feels heard? Jump to it too fast, and it can feel dismissive. Let me warn you about some pitfalls that can undermine this powerful tool. First, don't use what if to dismiss real obstacles. Using it to minimize or invalidate genuine barriers makes the client feel unheard. Second, don't let it become wishful thinking. This should feel like strategic exploration that leads to actionable insights, not fantasy. Third, don't stay in the clouds. Remember to bring the client back to reality for concrete next steps and practical application. And fourth, never skip the acknowledgement. Validate their current reality before you ask them to imagine beyond it. Here's what I want you to remember. What if isn't about pretending barriers don't exist. It's about seeing past them momentarily to discover what the client actually wants underneath the obstacle. Once clarity emerges, clients often find creative ways forward they couldn't see before. Now that we've explored expanding client thinking, a natural question emerges: how do you know if what you're asking is actually helpful? That's where we're headed next.